We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for Donald Trump's first speech since the assassination attempt. Guys, I'm not lying to you when I say I still cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth. First of all, I want to welcome our new member, Maybe Kelly. She has joined Unwoke Thoughts members. Guys, really appreciate you supporting the show. That really means a lot to me. One of my good friends in a channel that I contributed on personally multiple times a week was banned by YouTube. So that was a hit. So any support really means a lot. Thank you so much, Maybe Kelly. Thanks for joining. But guys, we are probably a couple hours away from Donald Trump taking the stage. But rumors are that his wife, Melania Trump, is there. She boarded a flight to Milwaukee. And from what I understand, I got a leaked list, a leaked set, if you will, of who is going to be speaking at the RNC from now until President Trump comes on the stage. The next one should be Alina Habba.
From New York.
Or not. I was wrong. Maybe that AP News list was wrong, but she is supposed to be coming around 7:30, so very soon.
Milwaukee. I'm Zach Witkoff. I am deeply honored to stand before you tonight and introduce my father. This moment holds special significance as I'm about to become a father myself. Thank you. The nation my son is born into in December will be shaped by the choice we make this November. I saw my father's remarkable journey from relying on a small loan to becoming one of the country's most successful developers. He showed me that success comes from hard work, not handouts. When I joined his business, I started at the bottom, literally, handling plumbing jobs and repairing sewage lines late at night in New York City. That's how he started too. I vividly recall him spending New Year's Eve fixing a broken sewage tank with a bear of a man named Shecky. You see, they couldn't afford to call in a crew. They were the crew. Years later, Shecky was still by my dad's side, and he became my first boss. He once told me he would run through a wall for my dad because my dad never asked him to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. And that's exactly how my family feels about our dear friend, President Donald J. Trump.
Let's go. It's all about Trump tonight. Hey, it's been all about Trump all week. Let's just be honest. Trump is already there. He's already entered. David Chang, thank you so much for your donation. That really helps out a lot. Thank you.
It wasn't easy. Even when he could be doing something else. Even after getting hit by livestock.
I'm going to try to keep the speaking to a minimum so you guys can enjoy the RNC. So from now on, every now and then I might pipe in, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum.
And you know what? He makes it fun too. President Trump and the First Lady were the guest of honor at my wedding at the beautiful Mar-a-Lago Club. The president tore up the dance floor until 3 in the morning with his signature moves. You guys know those moves.
The Trump dance.
The essence of what my dad taught me. Hard work, unwavering loyalty, and perseverance. That is the essence of Donald Trump. As long as we stand united with President Trump, it will remain the essence of the nation that my son and all of our children grow up in. God bless America, God bless Donald Trump, and God bless the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present my father, Stephen Witkoff.
Good evening, everybody. That song that you just heard was American Trilogy by Elvis. It was playing for a reason. A lot of people don't know this about my dear friend, President Trump. but he's a big music guy. And he's got a playlist, and he's the DJ wherever he goes. See, I stand before you tonight, not just as a speaker, not just as someone who came up as a builder with the president in the world of real estate, but as someone who has had the profound privilege of calling President Donald J. Trump a true and dear friend for many, many years in good times and bad times. And of all the songs he has shared with me over the years, that is the song that best captures him, especially those words, "His truth is marching on." I thought of that song after my dear friend was shot a few days ago. I gave him a call. I expected to leave him a voicemail, so it surprised me when he answered the phone. His first words surprised me as well. He'd just come within an inch of his own life ending, but he picked up the phone and said, "Hi, Steve. I'm really glad you called. How are you? How are your kids?" It surprised me, but it shouldn't have. I know this man very well. President Trump is as kind and compassionate a man as I've ever met in my lifetime. I've seen the truth of President Trump, and it marches on with me tonight. I know that many here and watching at home have felt that kind of a connection with the president. It's real. I have never seen him refuse a question from somebody, decline a photo, or ignore someone's story or concerns. Everyone he meets gets a family member's embrace from him. I have felt that warmth so many times over the years. Just last week, I told the president about a moment I had with his 3 sons and how impressed I was with them. He looked at me with a wistful smile, blowing a kiss, and it was a special moment between us as fathers. When my dad fell gravely ill, President Trump didn't just send a note. He didn't just offer words of comfort. He showed up as he always does. He was there, treating my parents with kindness and respect. Including my mom, who's 91 and here tonight dressed in red and is going to be voting for the president. Many Americans have only witnessed his leadership on TV, but I have seen his humanity in the quiet moments, away from the spotlight, in hospital rooms he didn't have to be in, where his presence brought real solace in a dark hour for my family and many other families. That's who he is. When times are really tough, when he's got everything to lose and nothing to gain, Donald Trump shows up and he's there for you. Thank you. When I lost my boy Andrew to an opioid overdose, the pain was unbearable. But as usual, Donald Trump showed up. After he became the President Trump, even amid all the responsibilities of his office, he reached out and invited me to speak about Andrew at a conference on opioids hosted by the First Lady, providing a platform to honor my son's memory.
You gotta keep moving, I'm sorry.
And when the day of the conference came, he went out of his way that day to come and put his hand on my shoulder and say, "Steve, as he led me up to the lectern, "Tell the world about your boy." My boy was the best of us. Where we lived in New York City, a Trump building, 502 Park Avenue, there were 12 homeless people who stayed outside by the church next to the property. My son got to know them all. He fed them every evening. He became their friend. When he passed away, all 12 came to his funeral. He and President Trump shared something in common. My boy stood up for people, no matter which side of the train tracks they came from, exactly as the president does for everybody. Standing here today, I still feel my boy's hand on my shoulder. After Andrew passed away, I found myself clinging to my son's memory, even his things. His college ID is in my pocket right now. I wear his ring since he died. And I came today with his watch on. I kept his guitar too, and thought I would keep that guitar forever. But I gave it to my dear friend, Andrew's friend, and fellow music lover, Donald Trump. I wanted President Trump to have something with which to remember my son. President Trump didn't say something nice to me and put it in a closet somewhere. He put it right out front at his Trump International West Palm Beach property, where he and I both see it whenever we walk in and play, and where everyone who walks into that beautiful building sees it as well as an acknowledgement to my boy, a sacred tribute to a true friend who's gone, and a cause that remains opioid abuse. Thank you. Standing here today with my boy's hand on my shoulder, I know I'll never hear his music again. His mom and I can only hear the chords of memory now, and we will always hear them.
What's up, Insider?
But I know my dear friend, President Trump, hears them too. You don't see this man's reverence, his steady loyalty, his true empathy in the TV coverage. But this is the truth about President Trump, the man I have come to know and admire and love, a man whose truth is marching on. It is a dark hour for America, but there's nobody I trust more in this moment than this man. A man who in the darkest hours shows up, listens, cares, and always acts. The kind of man we need now to be the 47th President of the United States. Thank you. May God bless you all. May God bless President Trump and his extraordinary wife and his wonderful family. And may God bless America. Thank you so much.
Great speech, great speech. Yeah, I was wondering who was sitting next to Trump. I caught a glimpse. I was like, who is that? I couldn't really tell who it was, but thank you to, who was it? Zeets 1000. Jason Alden. Then he said, oh, sorry, Aldine. Yes, I knew what you were saying. I didn't even notice that you spelled it wrong the first time. So yeah, Jason Aldean, who Jim says is a true patriot. Yes, he is. He had that song, Try That in a Small Town, and it backfired. They tried to cancel him over that. Didn't work. Did not work.
To protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat. And frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans.
So I'm going to read to you guys the list I got with the times from the Associated Press. They said 7 to 7:30 p.m. Central Time, Alina Habba, and then Tucker Carlson in that time slot. 7:30 to 8, Carrie Ruiz, Hulk Hogan, and Annette Albright. 8 to 9, Franklin Graham, Eric Trump, Dana White, and then 9 o'clock apparently is when Donald Trump is supposed to take the stage. But so far, I haven't seen any Alina Habba. So take that with a grain of salt. But that came directly,
ladies and gentlemen,
from the Associated Press.
And senior advisor for President Donald J. Trump, Alina Habba.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So not too far off. Alina Habba.
Good evening, America. My name is Alina Habba, and I have had the great privilege of representing President Donald J. Trump. Now, I know you're all used to hearing me shouting outside a courthouse, but tonight, I want to take you behind the law and behind the headlines and share with you a side of President Trump that reveals his character, his kindness, and his commitment to saving this great country. As a devout Catholic, a proud first-generation Arab-American woman, and a feisty Jersey girl who is fed up with far-left corruption in Washington, President Trump championed my journey, empowering me to be who I became today. His unwavering support not only shaped my career, but has inspired other young women with big dreams. President Trump loves this country. He does. And he lifts up those around him. To my children, Luke, Chloe, and Parker, he's the man with one heck of a golf swing that lets them ride in a golf cart with some of the world's most famous golfers so they feel included in mom's job. And by the way, he can kick some of those guys' butts. Ken. To my husband, whose family members have survived the Holocaust, he is a champion of the Jewish faith. To my Iraqi parents, he is a mentor to their daughter. But to me, he is my friend.
Wow. So good.
Not too long ago, a supporter shouted, "God bless you and President Trump," in the middle of Manhattan after one of our trials. Little did that man know that I was on the phone with the president himself. And he immediately asked me to pause, give the man my phone, and spent time speaking to him and thanking him for his support.
What a guy. What a guy.
Despite the lawfare and the politics, President Trump loves the American people and he loves this country. For decades, the Trump Organization transformed skylines and created thousands of jobs. His buildings and businesses are a testament to his commitment to excellence and his drive to turn dreams into reality. But his greatest construction project was yet to come. The left has tried to demolish President Trump, but there is no bulldozer big enough or strong enough to remove the legacy that he has built or the future he is creating. As the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump built a legacy of putting America first. And as the 47th President, he will build America stronger than ever for we, the people. As we stand on the brink of a new chapter in America's story, I am reminded of the country my family fled 4 decades ago. A place marked by religious persecution, oppression, and a lack of freedom. They came here because America is a beacon of liberty and opportunity. It is now our duty to protect the values that define us and keep this the greatest nation on earth. Amen. That's right.
Great speech. Wow.
Every attack on President Trump only strengthens our movement. The left's madness is only a sign of desperation. Sham indictments and baseless allegations will not deter us, because the only crime President Trump has committed is loving America. And America, we are winning. Outside of his family and our country, President Trump also has another love: music. A few years ago, he wanted me to hear a new song he had selected for an upcoming rally. I could hear it blaring in the background at Mar-a-Lago. He landed on a song called "Hold On, I'm Coming." America, we no longer have to hold on. We just have to show up.
Let's go. USA in the chat.
So if you're ready to end the Democrat destruction, and if you're eager to unleash the best America has to offer, then let's send Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to the White House in November. The future of America and the world is bright, and it begins with the unwavering spirit of each and every one of us. Because of the resilience and the leadership of my friend, President Donald J. Trump. So let us not forget that President Trump did not just take a bullet in Butler, Pennsylvania. He has and will continue to take them for each and every one of us. God bless President Trump. God bless you all. And God bless the United States of America.
All right, guys. According to the list I have, Tucker Carlson is coming up very soon. They have him next on the list, but the individuals, the speakers who have been coming up, it hasn't followed this list exactly, but maybe it's just talking about the prominent people. So Tucker Carlson should be coming up very, very soon. And yes, I saw a rumor. It could just be a rumor. There's rumors flying everywhere lately. But I did see a rumor, and it would not surprise me whatsoever. I saw a rumor that Elon Musk may be a surprise speaker at the RNC. How insane would that be? That would be awesome. Not really surprising, though, or not that surprising. It'd be surprising, but not that surprising, because according to reports, many news outlets have reported this. The leftists are attacking him over this, MSNBC and whatnot.
Hi,
he is donating $45 million a month to a pro-Trump super PAC.
Even if it's
$45 million every single month. That's absolutely insane.
Please, I'm asking you.
I was thinking about it. I thought my Verizon bill was bad. $100 a month. Something like that. I mean, it's just way too. It was like $107 a month. $107 a month from just me.
Right back in the
just my phone. And I think I make a payment on my iPhone or something too. But imagine $45 million a month? It's crazy. Speaking of awesome, crazy things, that hat goes hard. I like that. I want that hat. I want that hat, that gold Make America Great hat. Text gold to 88022. I'm gonna do that. Wait. I've got to look at this hat. The gold Trump hat, are you kidding me? I have the red one. Let's see. I think the red one was like $55-$60. I don't know. The Trump store. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. I don't even know if this is the right store. But very soon, Tucker Carlson is supposed to be taking the stage. Hopefully. And maybe a surprise guest.
So pumped to be the vice presidential nominee along with President Trump. To make America great again, we need your help. So if you're able, chip in $1, $5, anything you can. Helps us get the message out and win this race for the American people. Thank you.
Today I'm joining RNC co-chair Laura Trump to humbly ask if you could chip in $5, $10, or $25.
Grassroots supporters like you keep this campaign alive.
See what you guys are doing while we're waiting for the next speaker.
Make the difference between victory.
What's going on? We got Jim in the chat. He said, watch the left's head explode. Yeah, that's exactly right. Watch him explode.
America great again.
Maybe Kelly says, yes, he is. Yes, who is? Eric says, matches the sneakers. Imagine having the gold hat, gold sneakers. That'd be pretty sweet. Mornino says, when you go far enough left, you end up right. Maybe. Jim says, send in super chat so Andrew can get the gold hat. I promise. If I get $50 in super chats during this stream, that is not monetized, by the way. You won't see ads on my stream here, on this one at least. I will buy a gold Trump hat. I will. I'm a watch. It says too much for a hat. Why do they keep begging for money when they're billionaires and Elon Musk is giving so much? Hey, because it's a fight. It's a fight. Unfortunately, politics is won with money. That's like a big part of politics. And you've got to. Just the day and age we live in. Not much you can do about it except try to fight back, raising your own money. So at least he's given, a cool product in return. I guess some people, they wouldn't justify spending $55 on a hat. I think it's a little bit more, a little bit much. But I don't think when you buy a hat, people who are buying it just expect a hat. They're buying it for a little different reason as well. Pete says, I've checked out Vivek, too slippery for me. Watch JD in Congress, looks like a winner. Hey, I've heard people say the same thing. I like Vivek a lot, man. JD, I have like the opposite view as you do. JD, I don't know what to think about the guy. He's not as bad as a Marco Rubio or a Doug Burgum, don't get me wrong. Or a Nikki Haley for that matter. But he's a good neutral pick, I guess. Penny says Trump needs Ohio. That's why Vance. He's totally compromised, though. Worked for Peter Thiel and Ambrosia. Yeah, that's why I don't like JD Vance, because he's owned by Peter Thiel. Agreed. 100%. That's why I do not trust him. But you make a good point. I've heard that before. He needs Ohio. I like that theory. You're probably right. Hey, Jim Barron, my man, sending in the $20 super chat. Thanks, my brother. He says, here's a start for the hat. Come on, people, step it up. Oh, now I have to buy the hat. I have to find one. Hopefully they're still in stock. I'm on the Trump store right now. Let's see, sale. I don't even know if this is the right. Let's see, I'm gonna have to go to the Trump official campaign store. Trump official campaign store. Okay, I'm typing it in.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago?
The Trump Organization. I think that's his golf stuff. So I'm looking at his golf stuff right now. Official MAGA gear. Here we go. WinRed.
Has respected
Let's see if they have it. Oh, I found it. Hey.
Do you feel that our security?
What? They dropped their prices. It's only $40, guys. Are you kidding me?
Years ago.
It's only $40. I might be able to afford this. Wow.
See us follow for the next 4. Then
Zeet says hat. Oh man, now I have to.
President Trump. He'll make America great again.
Let's see. I'm adding it to my cart. Let's see. Select quantity 1. Okay, let's watch this first. Let's go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome journalist.
I really appreciate you guys, by the way. Thank you.
Tucker Carlson.
Hey, Tucker is in the house. Let's go.
Thank you.
His laugh.
Oh, this is wild. Thank you. I've been good to see you. Thank you. I feel like I know about half the people in the room. This is wild.
Welcome, Michelle.
Justin Wells. Thank you, guys. Okay. Can I just say, Peter Navarro is back. Welcome to Peter Navarro. Suffering the fate that has happened to so many who are friends with Donald Trump. Thank you for having me. I have been to many conventions. I have never been to a more fun convention or a convention with better vibes. They literally let Navarro out of prison. First of all, thank you. This feels a lot different from what I thought it was going to feel like. I can't hear you, but I know it's something good. So I watched the video of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania about 50 times. I think I was one of about 8 billion people around the world who watched it. And the more I watched it, the more it struck me that everything was different after that moment. Everything. And this convention is different. The nation is different. The world is different. Donald Trump is different. When he stood up after being shot in the face, bloodied, and put his hand up, I thought at that moment, that was a transformation. This was no longer a man. Well, I think it was divine intervention. But the effect that it had on Donald Trump, he was no longer just a political party's nominee or a former president or a future president. This was the leader of a nation. And I think there's a difference. I've spent most of my life in Washington where the president is at the top of the pyramid, everyone wants to be the president. But if you think about it, the presidency comes with great power, obviously. But if you think about it, that is a title that is bestowed by a process of some sort that can be subverted. And in the end, it does not confer by itself, as no title does, legitimacy. Just because you call yourself the president doesn't mean that much inherently. I can call my dog the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. It doesn't mean she is. No, it's true. And you hate to say it, but it is also true, it is a fact, that you could take, a mannequin, a dead person, and make him president. You could. I'm just saying theoretically possible. With enough cheating, that could happen. But being a leader is very different. It's not a title. It's organic. You can't name someone a leader. A leader is the bravest man. That's who the leader is. That is true in all human organizations. This is a law of nature. And in that moment, Donald Trump, months before the presidential election, became the leader of this nation. That was the most obvious to me. And I have to say, I think it changed him. He reached out to Trump within hours of it that night. And what he said to me that night, having just been shot in the face, he said not a single word about himself. He said only how amazed he was and how proud he was of the crowd, which didn't run. And I thought two things. The first thing I thought was, well, of course they didn't run. His courage gave them heart. A leader's courage gives courage to his people. And the second thing I thought was, this is the selfish guy I've been hearing about for 9 years? Really? Not a word about himself? About his people, period. And the second thing I noticed, which I don't think anyone has remarked upon in public, but I'm just going to since I don't have a script, like why not, is that he turned down the most obvious opportunity in politics to inflame the nation after being shot. To inflame the nation, which is an opportunity that almost every other politician I've ever met, and certainly his opponents, would have taken instantly. And they would have said, well, what is this? How did he get shot? How did this happen? And those are real questions that we have to get to the bottom of. But in the moments, the days, the week after the shooting, he did not say that. He did his best to bring the country together. And I thought, this is the divisive figure? This is the irresponsible person? No. This is the most responsible, unifying behavior of a leader I think I've ever seen. So the question is, where is he leading us? And I could go on for hours, but let me just sum it up. I do think the entire point from the famous escalator ride 9 years ago until today of Donald Trump's public life has been to remind us of one fact, which is a leader's duty is to his people, to his country, and to no other. That's the point. That's the only point. And another word for this is democracy. Democracy, in case you're a little sick of being beaten in the face with democracy on television, actual democracy is the proposition that the citizens of a country own that country. They're not renters, they're not serfs, they're not slaves, they are the owners of the country. And for that to be true, their leaders have to represent them, which is another way of saying they have to do what the people want them to do, or a close approximation thereof. But if they completely ignore what people want, not just 1 year, but generationally, say for 50 years, then it may be, I don't know what, it's not a democracy. And so I think the entire Trump project, paradoxically, is attacked as an enemy of democracy, is to return democracy to the United States. Hey, let's pay attention to what people actually want. And the lack of interest in that question in Washington is something that ultimately drove me out of the city after 35 years. Lawmakers stepping over the prostrate bodies of their fellow citizens ODing on drugs to go cast votes to send money to some foreign country.
The hacks. Yeah, wow. Actually, so good.
We've lost more Americans from drugs in the past 4 years than we lost in World War II. Yeah. Our bloodiest war. More than we lost in World War II. Does anybody care? It is pathetic. It is pathetic. And do you hear a single word from Washington about doing anything about it? We know where the drugs are coming from. We know the supply routes. The U.S. military spent billions bombing the Ho Chi Minh Trail. You don't see our commander-in-chief suggesting that we use our military to protect our country or the lives of its citizens. No. That's for Ukraine. And it's too much, actually. It's too insulting. It's too insulting. It's a middle finger in the face of every American. It's a very clear statement, which is unmistakable. And that is, we don't care about you. And Donald Trump, whatever you say about him, and I think he's a wonderful person. I know him well. By the way, the funniest person I've ever met in my life, actually. You can't be funny without perspective or without empathy, which is true. But everything else about Trump aside, he actually cares because he's interested in the people who live here because that's his job. A father's job, his duty is to his family. An officer's duty is to his men. A president's duty is to his citizens. And he seems to be the only one who thinks that. And in his choice for vice president, J.D. Vance, he's made that really clear. J.D. Vance, I'll say this about him, is a thoroughly decent man, and I'll just admit it, a friend of mine, one of the very few politicians in Washington who actually is very close to his own wife, which is wonderful to see. And she's
shots fired.
Actually. But J.D. Vance has views that are closer to Trump's voters than anyone else in Washington in office. Therefore, he's the vice president. That's called democracy. So I will stop on just one point, and that is what's happened over the past month since the debate, and particularly on Saturday in Butler. I think a lot of people are wondering, what is this? This doesn't look like politics. Something bigger is going on here. I think even people who don't believe in God are beginning to think, well, maybe there's something to this. Actually. And I'm starting to think it's going to be okay, actually. I do think that. In the day after the midterm elections in 2018, Antifa came to my house. The Democratic Party's militia, okay? I was at work. It was obvious when I was at work because it was public. My wife was home alone. They tried to come in through the front door. They terrorized her. She hid in our pantry. It was on television. It was horrible, actually. It was, I'm not whining about it. I wasn't getting shot in the face, but it wrecked our day. And the next morning, we're lying in bed, and the phone rings for my wife, and it's Donald Trump, who's not like a regular text buddy of Donald Trump's. She picks it up. Hello? Susie, it's Donald Trump. And it's coming through. I could hear it. I'm lying in bed. Whoa. And the first thing he says is, I'm going to stand guard outside your house. And she goes, oh, that's so nice. And he says, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He says, there's a lot of hate out there. And she said, there is, Mr. President. And then he says, but there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love. And we are seeing that love. I don't think it's human love. And I'll just stop with this. I'm not always convinced that I'm on the right side. I've been on the wrong side many times. You'll never hear me say I'm on God's side, or God's with me, or even I'm with God. I want to be, not sure I am. But I will say this unequivocally and conclusively. God is among us right now. And I think that's enough. God bless you.
Great speech. Wow. What a great speech.
Please welcome Golf General Manager, Trump National Doral, Carrie Ruiz.
He's got all the people that work for him talking about him.
Well, I am.
So good.
I'm not sure how I follow Tucker,
Good point.
but I'm going to give it a go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Ruiz, and like some people on this stage this evening, I am not a politician. I am not a public figure. I'm a mom of 3 and a woman of faith who's been fortunate to work side by side with Donald Trump and his amazing family. "12 years ago, the Trump Organization purchased the iconic Doral Golf Resort after so many companies tried and failed to create a world-class golf experience, all while turning a profit. With his keen eye for business and uncanny ability to make things better, Donald Trump got to work. He poured hundreds of millions of dollars and his own sweat and tears into the property. He had a hand in virtually everything, and no detail was too small. He didn't just change the carpet or apply a fresh coat of paint. He stripped this legendary resort to its core and rebuilt it the right way. He did the hardest things to make it great again. He also built up the resort's people. Thank you, boss. He empowered us. He listened to us, all of us, and he still does. No matter your role, he asks questions. He wants different opinions. He never demands more of us than he is willing to give. He is as generous as he is brave. And to those who work for him, he provides unwavering support. When he promoted me to the resort's golf general manager position, it was an out-of-the-box choice in a historically male-dominated industry. I am not a golf professional. I cannot break 90 yet. But none of that mattered to President Trump. He looks at things differently. He welcomes the unconventional. And I am proud to be among the countless women he's promoted to leadership positions. I might add, he did it all while no one was looking. The simple truth is, no one can match President Trump's vision and unrelenting drive to make things better. He did it at Doral. He did it as president. He will do it again. May God continue to bless President Trump, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Great speech. Wow.
This is the final battle.
When you have an employee coming up I'm talking about you like that. That's pretty sweet. Pretty cool.
We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates.
See what you guys are saying.
We will rout the fake news media. And
while we wait for the next speaker. How's everyone doing out there? I saw a lot of Trump supporters. Weird. I didn't know Trump supporters watched me. That's crazy. Uh-oh, who we got next? This sounds pretty sweet. On my list, it says maybe Carrie Ruiz, Hulk Hogan, or Annette Albright.
You know what I'm talking about?
It looks like we have a little bit of a music break. So we'll just hang out and wait for the next speaker. How about that?
They got a lot of nice girls out there.
We got Jim Laws in the chat, who is a member at Unwoke Thoughts. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for being a member. He says they've compared Trump to almost every despicable figure in history. Yeah, including the worst one. Well, yeah, they do their best. They've tried and failed over and over and over. How many times? Lawfare, the mainstream media, constant attacks against Trump, comparing him to ridiculous things, ridiculous figures like Hitler. They tried to take him off ballots. That didn't work. And then, you guys know, they tried to shoot him. They tried to shoot him Saturday. I still can't believe I'm saying that. Crazy. Michelle says, I believe Hulk is speaking right before President Trump. Yeah, I have this list of times. It says, this is from the Associated Press. Hulk Hogan is supposed to speak between 7:30 and 8, according to the Associated Press. And then after that, it's Franklin Graham, Eric Trump, Dana White, and then finally the big one, Donald Trump. So we shall see. Make sure if you haven't yet to smash that like button, guys. It really helps me out a lot. And by the way, if you don't watch my morning live streams, I do a morning live stream 6 days a week between 8 and 9. I usually start around 8:45, 9 o'clock is when I start. Go for about an hour. Catch everybody up on breaking stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's been growing really quickly. Been doing really well. People really seem to like it. So if you would like to check that out, please subscribe. Throw up those emojis in the chat, guys. If you throw up the emojis, they float onto the screen. If you don't believe me, try it. Valerie says, did you get the hat? I have not yet. I have to. They don't have PayPal on his site. I have to put in my credit card information and all that. I'm not trying to do all that right now. I can only do so many things at once, guys. I'm not a multitasker, but I will.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
will get it.
Please welcome Advocate for Safe Schools, Annette Albright from North Carolina.
All right, here we go, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Annette Albright. I grew up in the small town of Mount Airy, North Carolina. North Carolina. Like my parents and my grandparents, I was a lifelong member of the Democrat Party. Don't worry, the story gets better from here. After completing a degree in criminal justice, I started a career working with the North Carolina Department of Corrections. I left my job in the criminal justice system to work for Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District to engage our youth before they got stuck in the system. It didn't take long for me to realize that public schools are a part of the problem. Sadly, too many of our schools are more like prisons than places of learning. That must change. In one public high school, I witnessed a full-blown riot. I saw many violent altercations between students and physical attacks on staff. During my 14 years working with the Department of Public Safety, offenders never laid a hand on me. Yet, I was violently assaulted by a group of students in a public high school. The uptick in school violence was related to an Obama-Biden policy that directed schools to reduce suspension rates and keep dangerous students in the classroom. President Trump reversed the Obama policy and put the safety of our kids first. Violence on public school campuses should not be a Democrat issue. It should not be a Republican issue. It is an American people issue. Sadly, I've repeatedly seen that the Democrat Party cares more about appeasing the teachers' union than they do about prioritizing the needs of our kids. They champion safe spaces instead of safe schools. This is completely wrong. Little by little, I began to see the truth. While Democrats spend more money on a broken system, Republicans are empowering parents and fighting for school choice. While Democrats think school resource officers are a threat to our students, Republicans know that they protect our kids. While Democrats won't admit that our schools are failing, Republicans will fix the system and make our schools safe. That's why this year, for the first time in my life, I am registered as a Republican. Thank you. Thank you. And in November, I will proudly cast my vote for Donald J. Trump. Only together we can make America's schools great again. Thank you, and God bless America.
Okay, guys. I bought the hat. That's what I was doing. What I was doing while she was speaking. So I bought the hat. Officially, I have the gold hat. It's on its way. So one of these streams, I will be wearing the gold hat in one of these, maybe a morning live stream. We will see.
Is New York's Donald Trump
So I had to type in my credit card information, do all of that stuff. So officially, I got the hat.
Views on foreign policy, and these ads will win him a following. In the ads, he says, "There's nothing wrong with American foreign policy that little backbone won't cure." And he says,
we have Jim Barron.
"We have no business."
Hat. Yes.
In the Middle East.
We are just waiting for the next speaker, guys. While we wait,
Rumblings in the Trump camp point as far.
see what you guys are up to.
Somebody has to help this country, and if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble. Because within a short period of time, as sure as we're sitting here, there's not going to be a country. And
Pete says channels like this will put the lamestream media networks out of business. Hey, I'm all about that. They should be. They need some competition. The reason why channels like mine
And the world
are growing, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, all these channels, is because people are sick of the crap from the media.
in our nation's capital has
They lie to you.
rewards of government.
They pretend to be objective news, and then they try to manipulate you. People are tired of that.
Starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you. The forgotten men and women of our country.
Zeet says, can't wait for the gold hat live stream. Yeah? I forgot how long it took for the other one to come in, my red one. I think it took like maybe 3 or 4 weeks. It wasn't it wasn't like Amazon where it's 2 days. So
Everyone is listening to you now.
it might be a while.
I will fight for you with every breath.
Jaloski, yes, I do. I believe the Democrats, I believe Biden this weekend or Monday will be dropping out. That's my prediction. This weekend, probably Saturday or Sunday, probably. I believe Biden will be dropping out. Absolutely. Bear Ashby, one of my great members in the chat. How's it going, Bear? Thank you for joining us.
Everybody, this is Ronnie Johnson.
Really appreciate my members. If you guys want to have a sweet little member badge next to your name,
It takes physically and mentally to be
it
president.
changes colors depending on how long you've been a member too.
President Trump
So
is doing everything he can to save America.
the 1-year membership is pretty sweet. It's a gold badge. Made it myself.
So I have one ask. Can you chip in any amount right
Michelle says my red hat took almost 3 weeks to get here. Yeah, it wasn't a very quick shipping situation, but
$10 or any amount you can.
I got it.
What's important is that me, you, and the entire MAGA movement join together before he accepts his nomination. Please chip in now by texting DONATE to 88022. Thank you.
So do you guys think Elon Musk is going to be speaking? I just saw a tweet where Elon Musk is refuting this claim that he is donating $43 million a month to Trump. He said, let's see if I can find this. He said he created his own PAC, but these reports that he's actually donating to a Trump super PAC is not true. Let me see if I can find his Twitter while we hang out here.
I'm Newt Gingrich, and I'm here at the Republican National Convention. And I'm asking you to help President Donald Trump win the White House.
Where did I see that? I have to look through this.
If you'll send whatever you can afford to 88022, I believe you will be key in helping defeat Joe Biden.
So it says, Musk has not pledged to donate $45 million a month to Trump. He did create a PAC that is focused on supporting candidates who favor meritocracy and personal freedom. So read into that what you may. If you look at it, Donald Trump definitely favors meritocracy. Penny says, funny, CNN never did live streams of Trump rallies until they did on Saturday. Huh. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Isn't that odd? Saturday, all of a sudden, they were interested in streaming the Trump rally. Total coincidence, though, of course. Teresa, yeah, that was the rumor, but apparently, like I just said, Elon Musk says, or I'll bring it up here. So right here, this is directly from Elon Musk. Doge designer on Twitter tweeted out this right here. Let me bring it up on the bigger screen. Biden-Harris is sending out this email, I guess, this graphic to people. Hey folks, Elon Musk just pledged to donate $45 million per month to Donald Trump. The richest person in the world is now on Team MAGA, and this is what Elon Musk replied. This note is false. I have not pledged anything to anyone. I did create a PAC that is focused on supporting candidates who favor meritocracy and personal freedom, but funding to date has been far below that level. So, I guess it was all a rumor. So, if he's donating to candidates who support meritocracy, though, Donald Trump, I would assume, is that candidate. I was about to say, 45 mil a month, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Brian Donovan says, wonder if the DNC convention will have this much energy. Yeah, I'm going to guess probably not. Probably not. So next on the list, let's see, who do we have next? So we had Annette Albright. So we should either be having next Carrie Ruiz. I don't know who that is. Next to her name, it just says Everyday American. Or Hulk Hogan might be next as well. He's supposed to be in that between 7 and 8 slot. Or around 8 o'clock slot. So far, this schedule has been pretty close. Not exactly, but pretty close. Oh, was Carrie Ruiz the golf lady? You might be right. I forgot her name, honestly. So then the only one next is, looks like Hulk Hogan probably next. Then we have Franklin Graham, Eric Trump, Dana White, and then Donald Trump coming up very soon. Yes, Trump is supposed to speak around 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit after. Looks like they got a party going on. That was been every day at the RNC. The band is good too. Really good cover band. I guess there's a report that was done. Over a third of registered Democrats believe former President Trump staged his own assassination attempt, according to a new poll by Morning Consult. Pretty wild. Could you imagine the coordination that would go into staging something like that? Literally cameras everywhere. And I believe also Melania Trump. So when Alina Habba was speaking, some people were tweeting out that Trump got up and walked out. Well, it might be because he may have been going to get Melania Trump. That's my theory. I don't know if he's come back yet, but when he comes back, I wonder if Melania Trump will be in tow. So we might be seeing Melania here pretty soon, because I know she got on a jet to Milwaukee. So I bet he went out there to get her. right, guys, I just made a poll. Who do you think is going to replace Biden? Let's see who you guys think. Let me know. While we wait for maybe Hulk Hogan next. Hulk Hogan next. Probably Hulk Hogan next. We'll see. Oh, we got cackling Kamala leading in the poll. Yeah, I kind of think so too, because Biden has COVID and she's been out there. Where was she, in South Carolina, North Carolina? She's out there campaigning in Biden's place. So they're testing her out. They're giving the old Testoruski to Kamala Harris. We all fell out of coconut trees, Brian. According to Kamala, at least. Yep, Penny, Gretchen Whitmer, my governor, unfortunately. Hey, we got a vote for Big Gretch. One. Kamala Harris, Michael Obama in a far second place. Jim, I understand. I get it. But I don't know. What can they do if Biden steps down off the ticket? What can they do? Democrats never play fair as it is, so. I forgot about Newsom. Newsom's another one that could be put on the ticket. I don't think so, though. It'll probably be Kamala. They're saving him for some more nefarious things. I heard a funny joke about this this guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be assassin for Donald Trump. Someone posted on Twitter. They said, in response to all this news coming out, that apparently he was a Republican voter. He was a registered Republican, which is a little bit weird. Probably a lie, but that's what the news reported. And someone said, well, if he was a Republican voter, he's definitely a Democrat voter now. If you get that. You're a real one. He's definitely a Democrat voter now. Texas Rose says, what's the name of the band? I don't know. I'm not sure, but they are good, aren't they?
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Yes.
You know something? When I came here tonight, there was so much energy in this room. I felt maybe I was in Madison Square Garden getting ready to win another world title. Or maybe I thought the vibe was so intense, the energy was so crazy, it felt like maybe I was gonna press that no-good stinky giant over my head and slam him through the mat, brother. But what I found out was I was in a room full of real Americans, brother. And at the end of the day, with our leader up there, my hero, that gladiator, we're gonna bring America back together. One real American at a time, brother. You know something? I've seen some great tag teams in my time. Hulk Hogan and, ooh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. But you know something? I see the greatest tag team of my life standing upon us, getting ready to straighten this country out for all the real Americans. You know, even though you guys are real Americans, you better get ready. Because when Donald J. Trump becomes the President of the United States, all the real Americans are going to be nicknamed Trumpites. Because all the Trumpites are going to be running wild for 4 years. So with the power of Donald J. Trump and all the Trumpites running wild, America is going to get back on track. And like Donald J. Trump said, America is going to be great again. You know, when I look out and I see all the real Americans, I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised. When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised. But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough!
Let's go.
And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Good point, Phaser. Maybe. I bet she will.
You know something, Trumpites? I didn't come here as Hulk Hogan, but I just had to give you a little taste. You know, my name is Terry Bollea. And as an entertainer, I love you too. And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years, and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent. I'm here tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States. You know, guys, I've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. You know, hold on a second, hold on. I just had a flashback. Man. This is really tripping. You know, the last time I was up on stage, Donald Trump was sitting at ringside at the Trump Plaza. I was bleeding like a pig, and I won the world title right in front of Donald J. Trump. And you know something? He's gonna win in November, and we're all gonna be champions again when he wins. And like I said, I've known that man for over 35 years, and he's always been the biggest patriot, and he still is. He's always told you exactly what he thought, and he still does, brother. And no matter the odds, he always finds a way to win. And when he's back in our White House, America is gonna start winning again. You know, guys, over my career, I've been in the ring with some of the biggest, some of the baddest dudes on the planet. And I've squared off against warriors, ooh yeah, savages. And I've even, like I said, body slammed giants in the middle of the ring. And I know tough guys. But let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump is the toughest of them all. They've thrown everything at Donald Trump. All the investigations, the impeachments, the court cases, and he's still standing and kicking their butts. You know, we never had it better than the Trump years. Back then, we had a thriving economy. We had strong borders. We had safe streets. We had peace and respect around the world. But then we lost it all in a blink of an eye. Crime is out of control. The border is out of control. The price of food and gas and housing is out of control. And the only person who can clean this up is Donald Trump. You know, guys, I really, really love this country. And I've lived the American dream. And I want my kids, your kids, and all those little teeny Hulkamaniacs out there to live the American dream too. This November, guys, we can save the American dream for everyone. And Donald Trump is the president who will get the job done. So all you criminals, all you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother? God bless you, and thank you.
Let's go. That was a sick speech. I love that. I absolutely loved that. Looks like Trump loved it too. Look at him. He's so pumped. Trump is so pumped. That's his best speech ever.
Please welcome the president and CEO of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association and president of Samaritan's Purse, the Reverend Franklin Graham.
Good evening. I've got the hardest job tonight. I have to follow Hogan. But I stand here tonight as a private citizen who loves this country. I've been asked to say a few words and then to pray, and we're going to do that. Last Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania, President Trump had a near-death experience. No question. But God spared his life. And when we go through those experiences, it changes us. It can cause us to examine our lives and to reevaluate our priorities, as you should. When President Trump rose from that platform, he rose with his fist raised in strength, showing America his unshakable resolve to fight for them in this nation. I cannot explain why God would save one life and allow another one to be taken. I don't have the answer for that. But one thing I do know is that God loves us, and he wants us to be with him in heaven one day. And that's through faith in his son, Jesus Christ. You see, the Bible says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shouldn't perish but should have everlasting life. For as long as I've known President Trump, I've found him to be a man of his word. Things that he said he'll do, he did. When he told me and our country in 2016 that he was going to appoint conservative justices, guess what? He did. In 2016, he said he would defend religious liberty, and guess what? He did. In 2019, I was with him at the United Nations when the first president of history of this country stood there to advocate for religious liberty worldwide. When American citizen and Pastor Andrew Brunson was being held in a Turkish jail on false accusations, President Trump demanded that he be released. And he applied economic pressure and sanctions until they did that. I'm grateful and thankful for what he did as a 45th president of the United States. And I know that as the 47th president, he will keep his word to the American people to make America great once again. It's an honor for me to be asked to pray for Donald Trump this evening. And so what I'd like to do, I'd like us to pray, but I'd like us all to stand as we call upon the name of the God of heaven. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with grateful hearts, Thank you for saving the life of President Donald J. Trump. In his own words, it was you and you alone who saved him. We pray for the others that were injured on Saturday, for the family who lost their loved one. Put your loving arms around them. Comfort them, and may they sense your presence. We stand before you tonight. We say thank you for the provisions you have given to the United States of America. You have blessed this country more than any country in the world. Sadly, as a nation, we have forgotten who is responsible for all the freedoms, the liberties, and the bounty that we enjoy. It has all come for you. Thank you. This evening, our nation is in trouble. We're divided politically, racially, economically, with millions of people seeking refuge and hope in our dry and thirsty land. You're the only one who can fix the complexity of the problems that we face today. We pray for President Trump, that you would give him wisdom, strength, and a clear vision for the future of this nation and the task that is at hand. Continue to protect him from his enemies. I pray that you would surround him with men and women who will give him sound counsel and guidance. We pray for Melania, for Barron, and for all the President Trump's children and grandchildren. We pray for Senator J.D. Vance, his wife Ulsa, along with their young family. We're thankful for his strong stand for defending life. As your word instructs, we also pray for the leaders of our nation, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. We know that all authority comes from you. You are a great God, and we ask that if it be thy will that you will make America great once again. And we ask that you'll unite our hearts, bring us together, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we pray this in the mighty name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome businessman and executive vice president of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump.
We got Eric, we got Dana, and then Trump, guys. Smash that like button. Let's get this pumped up, guys. I'm ready.
Good evening, America. Eight years ago, my father sat our family down. He spoke of a nation in decline, of dreams slipping away, of a future endangered by failed leadership and broken promises. It was in that moment I knew my father had made a decision that would forever change our lives. We realized he had chosen to step into the arena, to fight for the soul of America. He decided to leave behind the comforts of an unbelievable business empire, to leave behind everything he had ever built, to answer the call to serve our nation. Unlike his predecessor, it was not a decision born out of necessity. Unlike the current president, it was not a decision that would enrich his family. Rather, it was a decision made out of love for this country and a deep concern for America's future. My father was clear it would not be easy, that there would be a huge price to pay, and that the attacks would be vicious. Looking back, that was an understatement. The made-up Russia hoax, the sham impeachments, the efforts to destroy an unbelievable company, a company that I run today, the efforts to cancel us, to silence him, to gag his free speech, and to drag him through every radical left courthouse in America, to take his life. Yet through it all, he's shown unwavering courage and determination, not just in public, but in every private conversation with me and our family. He stood tall, fueled not by personal ambition, but by a profound love for this country and a love for all of you, the American people. That man is my father. That man is the 45th president and soon to be 47th president of the United States. That man is Donald J. Trump. Each time I've stood on this stage, America has been at a dire crossroads. In 2016, many people began to doubt the promise of America. Our economy was struggling, jobs were scarce, our standing on the world stage was weak at best. Veterans were forgotten, our military was in shambles, our educational system was broken, ranked 30th in the world. He could no longer tolerate an inept administration that handed $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America, or witness the continued attacks on our Constitution and our religious liberty, or see the disrespect shown to our unbelievable law enforcement officers who are being disarmed, defunded, and persecuted each and every day. He could no longer stand to see words like Christmas stripped from public use, or the Pledge of Allegiance removed from our schools. But my father saw potential where others saw despair. Donald Trump built the New York City skyline. He did so during a time when businesses were turning away from the city he loved. Crime was rampant. The streets were dirty. But he had the Midas touch, and he turned those streets and neighborhoods into gold. He faced every challenge with tremendous vision and grit. As he did during the 2016 election, he rolled up his sleeves. He remained unapologetic. He did not care to be politically correct. He restored hope. He restored a voice to millions of Americans who had been ignored. He restored the American dream. Under my father's leadership, the economy climbed to record heights. Jobs were created at an unthinkable pace. Unemployment reached historic lows across all demographics. Wage growth soared. He cut taxes for hardworking families and businesses. He slashed regulations. We saw the greatest 401k increase in American history. People bought their first homes in an environment that saw 2 to 3% interest rates. They started their families. My father made the United States energy independent with the lowest gas prices in decades. My father made the United States safe. Our borders were closed. There was peace in the Middle East. Soleimani al-Baghdadi, the terrorists, were dead. My father made the United States respected again, with the courage to walk into countries like North Korea, with the courage to impose tariffs on China, and with the courage to tear up trade deals that cost Americans their jobs. He brought manufacturing back to America. Small businesses flourished. He did what he promised. He put America first. We were winning. Donald Trump made America great again. But he also created a movement that threatened the special interests in the political elites, a movement that cast a bright light on the institutions weaponized against the American people. You see it in our schools. God bless the moms who fought back. You see it in your workplace. You see it on every news station, in every newspaper. You see it in the military. The most iconic military installations on planet Earth are stripped of their identity and renamed. Fort Bragg, Benning, Fort Hood. You see it in Hollywood. You see it in our two-tier judicial system. They don't even hide it anymore. My father has been censored. The former president ripped off to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook while terrorist organizations remain intact. My father has been persecuted, targeted by far-left Democrats funded by special interest groups and hand-picked judges. My father has been pulled off the ballots of states, radical justices attempting to defy the will of millions of Americans who adore who he is and what he stands for. My father even became the target of an assassin who almost killed America's single greatest hope for our future. The swamp is terrified of this incredible movement. They're terrified of it. They're terrified of you and the tens of millions of people watching us on TV right now. They've tried everything to keep him from you, everything, to destroy his legacy, to destroy his family. They have failed, and they will not win. I love my Florida delegation right here. Thank you, guys. My father stands before you with the most votes of any Republican candidate in the history of our nation. He has defied the predictions of every political pundit. He fills stadiums across our country. He energizes Americans to the issues facing this nation and does so with unvarnished honesty. He is not a threat to democracy. He is a threat to those who despise our republic, many whom are bought and sold, bribed and coerced, people who have never signed the front of a check and who have been dependent on the government their entire adult lives. Today, as it was in 2016, America's at that crossroads again. Energy prices are soaring. Interest rates are crippling. Everything is unaffordable. The US dollar has been diminished. Inflation has made it impossible for Americans to live, to save for their future. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Our border is out of control. Millions are dead and displaced in Russia and Ukraine, a war that has no end and a war that we are funding. The Middle East has become a hornet's nest. Our greatest ally, Israel, totally under siege. Fentanyl is killing our youth and destroying families, while the current administration stands idly by, hoping their inaction will import illegal votes. Crime terrorizes our cities and our suburbs as far-left policies handcuff police. Male athletes, guys my height, 6'5", are swimming in women's sports. Destroying the dreams of young girls who have trained every minute of their lives. We no longer trust our elections. We no longer trust our judicial system. And we no longer believe that our government is working in our best interest. In spite of where we are today as a nation, I'd like to speak to every American. To the homeless veteran sleeping under a bridge as illegal immigrants are housed in the most expensive hotels in New York. I'm sorry. We know it's wrong, and we will fix it.
Let's go. Big.
To the single mother who can no longer afford her rent, afford groceries, and has been forced to work 3 jobs, I'm sorry. It does not have to be this way. To the parents who lost a son or daughter to fentanyl, including the incredible woman that spoke the other night, while an administration does absolutely nothing, I'm sorry. Your government can do so much better, and it will. To the children who are being brainwashed instead of learning the fundamentals in school, I'm sorry. There are teachers who care, and my father will empower them. To the law enforcement officers, our brave Border Patrol, Secret Service agents who work every single day to protect our communities, knowing damn well that the system will throw you under the bus, I'm sorry. We will stand behind you. To commuters often petrified to take a bus, take a train, or walk the streets in cities across our nation, I'm sorry. That man right there will fix this. To the construction workers, to the middle-class families, to the families with children with disabilities, families who can no longer afford medical benefits or to take a vacation, I'm sorry. We will make America great again. And to my father, who has been ruthlessly silenced, slandered, and attacked by a corrupt administration, I'm sorry. We know, and America knows, that they're not just after you, they're after all of us, and you just happen to be standing in their way. To all Americans watching tonight, the greatest retribution will be our success. Success not just for ourselves, but for our grandchildren and our children. Under President Donald J. Trump, the swamp will be drained. America will be respected. Our cities will be safe. Our streets will be clean. And our border will once again be secure. We will have peace. We will have prosperity. Your hard-earned tax dollars will enrich a better America, not be squandered in corrupt foreign nations. Education will be handed back to the states. We will no longer be 30th in the world. We will be first. Our children will understand family, our children will have values, and our children will love God. Our country will prioritize free speech, respect freedom of religion, and honor our Constitution. As his son, I've never been more proud of a person in my life. A man who has defied all odds more than once. A man who believed in the promise of America when others turned away. A man who saw a nation in need of a champion and answered that call with unwavering determination and courage. A man who survived a bullet, that was intended to eliminate him permanently from our future and from our family. Never have I been more proud to be a Trump. Never have I been more proud to stand by my father's side. I remain incredibly honored to be part of this journey, a journey with all of you, a journey to save the greatest country on earth, a journey with the most incredible people I have ever met. Dad, 5 days ago, Laura, Luke, Carolina, and I held our breath as we saw blood pour across your face. By the grace of God, divine intervention, and your guardian angels above, you survived. You are the greatest fighter I have ever seen. You are strong, you are full of life, and you are unapologetic. Your optimism is contagious. Your backbone is unbreakable. Your conviction to fight for what is right and against all that is wrong is truly next level. The whole world saw your strength as you stood up. You wiped the blood off your face, and you put your fist in the air in a moment that will be remembered as one of the most courageous acts in the history of American politics. You shouted, "Fight, fight, fight!" I'm honored to be your son. I'm honored to speak to our great nation tonight. You are a true leader. You epitomize strength. Our country loves you. Our country appreciates you. Our country misses you. And on November 5th, our country will re-elect you as the 47th President of the United States of America. Good night, Milwaukee.
Great speech. Great speech by Eric Trump. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some breaking news for you guys. Guess what? Melania Trump is in the house. This photo was just shared. We have Melania Trump, all smiles, in the hallway with Donald Trump. And you know this is a recent photo today because Donald Trump has the bandage on his ear. Melania Trump, someone in my chat said that they believe that Melania Trump will introduce Donald Trump, and I think that is correct. Melania Trump most likely will be introducing Donald Trump. So we have Dana White next, the head of the UFC. After that, the next person on the schedule is Donald Trump. So stay tuned. Very soon, we will most likely be seeing both Donald Trump and Melania Trump. I mean, we've already seen Donald, but Melania Trump walking on the stage, introducing her husband, would be epic. So coming up, there's Hulk Hogan. He spoke earlier. What are you guys up to? Our Phaser said, or maybe Dana introduces Ivanka and Ivanka introduces Melania. Maybe. Might be introduception. All right, let's get back to it. Looks like we are gearing up here. Or maybe not. This band, you never know when they're going to stop. You don't know when they're coming or when they're going. Michelle says, Melania is the most stunning first lady we've ever had. Yeah, I agree. She is one classy lady. That is for sure. She's great. And he says, it would be epic if Barron came out with his mom. Agreed. That would be crazy. Barron, another one of those that are kind of back in the shadows a little bit, that have been kind of creeping out a little bit more. At the rally before the last rally in Pennsylvania, Trump introduced Barron to everyone in the audience, and he stood up and waved to everybody. So could be a possibility. Melania and Barron maybe together introduces Trump. We'll see. Dolphin fan says, I love your channel. Hey, man. Thank you. Glad you enjoy. Put a lot of work into it.
This is a story as uniquely American as the ideals and freedoms we all cherish. A story of a life dedicated to dreaming big. A story about giving back to the people in his beloved city. But most of all, this is a story about putting his country first. And it's a story best told in pictures. Young and confident, Donald Trump wasn't afraid to think big and build even bigger. And he left his mark on the New York skyline that greeted visitors from around the world. But he wasn't just an American entrepreneur. He became a folk hero. Celebrities and sports stars wanted to be seen with him. Politicians sought his approval. And New Yorkers just loved him. And he loved them back. And he gave back. Just one example, saving the Woolman skating rink.
The Woolman skating rink in Central Park is open again. The city spent nearly 6 years and $12 million trying to fix it. And then to the rescue, developer Donald Trump. As Tracy Egan tells us now, he accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
Donald, you performed a great public service.
There was no denying that Donald Trump was the toast of the town. But he was also something even more important, a patriotic American. And like many others, he was becoming increasingly troubled by the direction of our country.
Because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
But who would ever run for president and leave such a glamorous life? Appearances in movies, best-selling books, a widely popular TV show. But for Donald J. Trump, the calling to save his country was even stronger. The mission, more important. The number of Americans being left behind, too large. And so, in Donald Trump fashion, he announced he was running for president, in it to win. And he did.
Then traveled the world, meeting with our allies, and even with our main adversaries, just so they understood that America's strength and resolve was back. Because that's what a strong commander-in-chief does. And it led to a stable world at peace and our troops safe. Today, a different story. Our enemies smelled weakness, then set the world on fire. Putin saw it, then invaded Ukraine. Hamas saw it, then started a war in the Middle East.
What an ad. What an...
Say fight, fight. Cause how somebody scream. The devil without a cause. I'm back with the beaver hats and Ben Davis slacks. 30-pack of stroll, straight rock and roll. No Rogaine in the propane flow. The chosen one, I'm the living proof. With the gift to gab from the city of truth. You know I jab, stab, and knock critics back. And I did not stutter when I said that. I'm going platinum, selling rhymes. I went platinum 7 times. Still they ill and wanna see us fry. I guess because only God knows why. Oh, they call me cowboy. I'm the singer of black. Throw a fist in the air. Let me see where you at. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. I say Trump, Trump. I like AC/DC and ZZ Top. Bocephus Beasties and the Kings of Rock. Skinner, Seeger, Lipcorn, the Stones. David Allen Coe and the No-Show Jones. Yeah, pass that bottle around. Got the rock from Detroit, the soul from Motown. The underground, straight Detroit pimp. With tracks to Mac and slap back to back. Never gain no pay, I don't play with ass. Well, watch me rock with Liberace Flash. Punk rock the Clash, boy bands are trash. I like Johnny Cash and Grandmaster Flash. Flash, 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 Flash. Oh, they call me cowboy. I'm the singer of black. Throw a fist in the air. Let me see where you're at. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. I say Trump, Trump. I'm an American badass. Watch me kick. You can roll with rock or you can. I'm the ultimate. I'm like Amazing Grace. I'm on rock and roll. Never rock this place. All super fly. Living double wide. Psychon McFly. The big Don can ride. Bill Sack to share. Bringing flash to flare. Back a long hair swinging middle finger in the air. Snakeskin boots 65 Chevelle. See me ride and sit and hit a rebel yell. I won't live to tell. So if you do, rock for freedom and rock for truth. Who knew I'd blow like Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, Arizona. Smell the aroma and check my hits. I know it stinks in here, cause Trump's the They call me cowboy, I'm a singer of black. Throw a fist in the air, let me see where you're at. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. I need to hear you louder than that. One more time. I'm a cowboy, badass and black. You say Trump, Trump. From side to side, from front to back. Come on, Trump, Trump. I put Detroit City back on the map. We singing Trump, Trump. Kick rocks in the house. This is where I'm at. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the most patriotic American badass on earth, President Donald J. Trump. But first, another American badass.
Wow. That was sick. All right. I don't care who you are. That was awesome. That was awesome. He must have written that song specifically for this event. That was great. So after Dana White is Trump. So we got one more.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dana White. I am the CEO and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So 2 weeks ago, I got a call from President Trump asking me if I'd be willing to speak tonight. As usual, there was no pressure, no demands. He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little piece of what President Trump wrote to me. Dana, I'm so honored that you will be doing the introduction at the National Republican Convention. Think of it as the biggest fight you ever had, a fight for our country and even the world. I only wish you didn't have to interrupt your family trip, but I hope they understand they love you and they know how important this is. Now think about this. This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip. That's the President Trump that I know. A man who truly cares about people. The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about anyone but himself. I absolutely know that's not the truth, because I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. And for the people who know me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet. And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter. I've been saying this since 2015. Now look at what's happened over the last 10 years. We have all seen it with our own eyes. I'm in the tough guy business, and this man is the toughest, most resilient human being that I've ever met in my life. The higher the stakes, the harder he fights, and this guy never, ever gives up. So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text, and I quote, "A fight for our country." I know why he's running for president again. Why else would he put himself through everything he's dealt with just to get back here? We all know he doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life. He has a beautiful family. And he has achieved everything that you could possibly achieve in life. I know President Trump is literally putting his life on the line for something bigger than himself. And he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country. And I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people. I know he's running for president to save our American dream. I'm living the American dream, and I know the American dream is very real. Whether you were born in this country or came here from someplace else, this is the last real land of opportunity. President Reagan once said, government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills, how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever buy a house? I know that President Trump is fighting to save the American dream, and that's what's at stake in this election. We are choosing who we want to lead us in this fight. I know President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless leader, and this country was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind, the choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America. I know Donald J. Trump is the best choice for President of the United States. My fellow Americans, it is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Let's go. Oh, man, what a speech. What an absolute awesome speech.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it. God bless the USA. To the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Together, we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will do it right. We're going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. and moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. These are great people at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper, and then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance, and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. Yeah. Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded, two other great warriors, spoke to them today, David Dutch and James Copenhaver, two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them, and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters, and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. Especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read, on Monday a major ruling was handed down from a highly respected federal judge in Florida, Alina Hanna, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of court. With all of that publicity, thrown out of court. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania. And Melania, thank you very much. You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by surprise. I will tell you, it was beautiful. In fact, some very serious people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't it? Right, Mr. Congressman? But it captivated so many, so I also want to thank my entire family for being here. Don, Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Eric and Lara, Tiffany and Michael, Barron. We love our Barron. And of course, my 10 wonderful grandchildren. You saw a few of them up there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, was he good? He was on probably the only vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called, and he said, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said, Dana won't be able to do it, because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, well, that's too bad, but I understand he's away, and it's good. It's good for him. And that was it. About 30 minutes later, she came back in, sir, Dana just called, he's going to do it. And his wife, she said, you can't turn him down, you just can't do it, you have to go. That's a good wife. So he got on a plane, he got here a little while ago, now he's going to get on the plane in a little while and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great, and I just want to thank her and him and their whole family, because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part, because, Kid does his great song, Big, Big Monster song. I had no idea. He became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. He has rallies, 35, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money, he doesn't know what the hell to do with it. You want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that. I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was #1 on the chart recently, #1. So that's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. But they all wanted to be here. They called. And how about the Hulkster? How good was he? Is he up? Where is he? Boy, oh boy. They may call that entertainment. I know about entertainment, but when he used to lift a 350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience, I say maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Followed by Eric. What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. They went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them and all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on indictments. We beat them. But the time that you have to spend, if they would devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country. And Jason, the biggest star in country music. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, thank you very much. Jason Aldean, he's good. I like his wife even better, by the way. She's here. Thank you, Jason. But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side. The next Vice President of the United States, the current Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and his incredible wife, Usha. He's going to be a great Vice President. He's going to be great. He'll be with this country and with this movement, greatest movement in the history of our country, Make America Great Again. When they criticized it, they said, we're going to try and stop MAGA. I said, MAGA is Make America Great Again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop. Then they say, oh, that's right. It's very tough to fight it. And all of the people that did try and fight it have failed. But he's going to be with us for a long time, and it was an honor to select him. Great student at Yale. His wife was a great student at Yale. They met at Yale. These are two smart people. So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the ride. And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great state of... Oh, there they are. There they are. You are so easy to spot. And Green Bay's going to have a good team this year, right? They're going to have a good team. They're going to have a good team. Most of the audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very good team this year. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that. And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation, to every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican, or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic. I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before. We were right there in the first term. We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job. Never got credit for that. We got credit for the war and defeating ISIS and so many things, the great economy, the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever, the creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much. We did so much. Right to try. Right to try is a big deal. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years. Somebody's terminally ill, and hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space-age drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their records, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia, Europe, or someplace, or if you have no money, going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where they're not going to sue anybody. They're going to get all of this stuff. They're going to get it really fast. And what's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives. It's incredible. Right to try. It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III. And this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry. The weapons are no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. These weapons are obliteration. It's time for a change. This administration can't come close to solving the problems. We're dealing with very tough, very fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce. So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill. Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, So much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before, and we'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great. I changed both of them, and hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which no nation had ever seen. China, we were beating them at levels that were incredible. And they know it. They know it. We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack on Israel, which would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it? And they had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well, whether you like him or not, Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other countries, if you buy from Iran, we will not let you do any business in this country, and we will put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions, and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame what this administration, the damage that this administration has done. And I say it often, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden, I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it. We had no inflation. Soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it doesn't matter because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. And by the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility, I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited. And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they've ever seen. Every single one. And it's true. It's true. And there's love in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it, and we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great people that spoke, and everybody hit a home run. I mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave them an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds. Love. It's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda. And it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have our great Speaker of the House with us tonight. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Thank you. A Republican Senate, we have many senators here, and send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent, but soon we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our debt, $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times, think of it. And all my life I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They've spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams, and we will not allow it to be spent on meaningless Green New Scam ideas. And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country. No tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. And we're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus. We will not let countries come in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come and do that. They plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. I got that by having dinner recently in Nevada, where we're leading by about 14 points. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in the Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? A really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips, tips, tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find him? She said, actually, and I didn't know this, she said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. And they come in and they take so much of our money, it's just ridiculous. And they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after him even more. And I said, this shows the level of my, most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay them millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax on tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody. It's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in, they're going to be on Social Security and Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, you know, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes out. You have to see what ICE does with MS-13. You have these are probably the worst gang, and ICE goes in there. And I know a lot of people in these rows here, and they're very tough people, but they don't want to do this job. They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst. Probably the worst gangs in the world. And we have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in my 4 years. We moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they get them out of our country. And the other countries weren't accepting them back, and I called up, and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day, I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day, I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't lead the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic aid of any kind to any country that does that, they called back and they said, sir, it would be our great honor to take MS-13. We love them very much. We love them very much, sir. We'll take them back. At the heart of the Republican platform is our pledge to end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we're going to do that on day one. That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders. And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. Legally. Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest, it was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it. But without that chart, I would not be here today. Never got to look at it. I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it. And by the time I got to there, I never got to see it that day. But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. If you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest level, the one on the bottom, heavy red arrow. That's the lowest level of illegal immigrants ever to come into our country in recorded history, right there. Right there. And that was my last week in office. And then you see what happened after I left. Look at the rest. And if you go out a little bit further, it's getting to be a little bit old, but I love it anyway, right? But you can go much higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion. But the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We stopped human trafficking and forged historic agreements to keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally, you were apprehended immediately and you were deported. You went right back. The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted a sealed border. Again, come in, but come in legally. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country. And now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended wall construction, ended remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. And they gave it to us, but not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements, demolished Title 42, implemented nationwide catch and release. That's catch and release, where we catch them and release them into our country. We catch them and release them into Mexico. There's a slight difference. And took 93, this is the previous administration, 93 executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up, while crime statistics all over the world are going down, because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails, he's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries from all over, I would be worse than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already. But we become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid. And they can't believe that they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela, really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No. They're down because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America. This is going to be very bad. And bad things are going to happen, and you're seeing it happen all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. Even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers who couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Charged with Jocelyn's heinous murder are 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela who came across our border, were in custody, and were then released into the country by this horrible, horrible administration that we have right now. I also met recently with the heartbroken mother and sister of Rachel Morin. Rachel was a 37-year-old mom of 5 beautiful children who was brutally raped and murdered while out on a run. She wanted to keep herself in good shape. It was very important to her. She was murdered. The monster responsible first killed another woman in El Salvador before he was led into America by the White House. This White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in Maryland. Traveled all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful family of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student. She was so proud of being first in her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration. And these were incredible people we're talking about. These were incredible people who died. Tonight, America, this is my vow. I will not let these killers and criminals into our country. I will keep our sons and daughters safe. As we bring security to our streets, we will help bring stability to the world. I was the first president in modern times to start no new wars. You know, we were the toughest, we were the most respected. And you saw this. Hungry, strong country, run by a very powerful, tough leader. He's a tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently. They were asking him at an interview, the whole world is exploding. What's happening? What's going on? Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man. He said, I don't want people coming into my country and blowing up our shopping centers and killing people. But they said to him, tell us what's going wrong, what's happening, what is it? He said, there's only one way you're going to solve it. You got to bring President Trump back to the United States because he kept everybody at bay. He used a word I wouldn't use because I can't use that word, because you'd say it was braggadocious. The press would say he was a braggart. I'm not a braggart. But Viktor Orban said it. He said Russia was afraid of him. China was afraid of him. Everybody was afraid of him. Nothing was going to happen. The whole world was at peace. And now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen. Under President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took nothing. We defeated 100% of ISIS in Syria and Iraq, something that was said to take 5 years, sir. It'll take 5 years, sir. We did it in a matter of a couple of months. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke. I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how can you possibly do that? But no, I got along with him, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea is acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with him. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. Look at that attack on Israel. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. The cities are just bombed out. How can people live like that where buildings, massive buildings, are falling to the ground? It began to unravel with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the worst humiliation in the history of our country. We have never had a humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S. service members were tragically and needlessly killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs, face explosions, horrifically wounded. And by the way, we have a man in this room who's running for the U.S. Senate from a great state, Nevada, named Sam Brown, who paid the ultimate price. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. He paid the biggest price probably ever paid by anybody that is running for office, and I think he's going to do great. He's running against a person that is not good, not respected, a total lightweight. But Sam, I think, paid, really, we were talking about it with some of the senators that are working so hard for Sam, but he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think anybody's ever what he did. He was a real hero, a really great person. And he's running, and I hope that everybody gets out and votes for Sam Brown. And we also left behind $85 billion worth of military equipment, along with many American citizens were left behind. Many American citizens, emboldened by that disaster, Russia invaded Ukraine. They saw this group of people that were incompetent. We took the soldiers out first. No, we're going to take the soldiers out second. If they would have followed my plan, we had a great plan. But the plan only kicked in if they did everything perfectly. And they weren't doing things perfectly, so we said it doesn't kick in. You know, 18 months in Afghanistan, we didn't have one, so they were killing them left and right, snipers. And I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. The press got on me. Why would you speak to him? I said, because that's where the killing is. I don't have to speak to somebody that has nothing to do with it. And I told him, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever, ever do that again. You've got to stop. Because during the Obama administration, many great people and soldiers, but a lot of soldiers were being killed from long distance. I said, if you keep doing that, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been hit by a country before. And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it. The other guy gave him everything. I mean, what kind of a deal was that? He walked out, gave him everything. Do you know that right now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world? They're selling the brand new, beautiful weapons that we gave them. But think of it, he actually said to me, but why do you show me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to ask your people or one of your wives. But he could figure it out. And for 18 months, we had not one attack on an American soldier by the Taliban. 18 months. And then we had that horrible day where soldiers were killed. I was not there because of a ridiculous election. But we had that horrible attack. And they also gave up Bagram, one of the biggest bases anywhere in the world, air bases anywhere in the world, the longest runways, most powerful, hardened, thickened runways. We gave it up. And I liked it not because of Afghanistan. I liked it because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China has it now. We were keeping that. And now China is likewise circling Taiwan, and Russian warships and nuclear submarines are operating 60 miles off the coast in Cuba. Do you know that? No, the press refuses to write about it. If that were me running this country and we had nuclear submarines in Cuba, I will tell you that the headlines every day would be, what's wrong with our president? You don't even hear this. You're not hearing about this. Russia has nuclear submarines and warships 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happens to be here. Correct? In Cuba. And that would not be stood for if it were somebody else. They don't want to mention it, but now maybe they will. And the entire world, I tell you this, we want our hostages back, and they better be back before I assume office, or you will be paying a very big price. With our victory in November, the years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars. I had no wars other than ISIS, which I defeated, but that was a war that was started. We had no wars. I could stop wars with a telephone call. I could stop wars with just a telephone call. If properly stated, it would never start. We will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it in the USA. And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract, and you're doing a very nice job, Governor, right? Thank you, Governor. And they're doing a great job. In fact, I had a little design change, and we gave them a tremendous for essentially what we used to call destroyers. These are now the most beautiful. They look like yachts. I said, we have to take the bow, and we have to make it a little nicer and a little point at the top instead of a flat nose. And the people at the shipyard said, this guy sort of knows what he's doing. We have the most beautiful ships, right, Governor? And everybody sitting over there. And it was a big contract that everybody wanted. I gave it to Wisconsin, but we're going to have a lot of that built right here in the state of Wisconsin and all other states. Israel has an Iron Dome. They have a missile defense system. 342 missiles were shot into Israel, and only one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. It fell to the ground, but most of them are. And Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, spaceship, anything to mock him. But he was a very good president, very, very good. But now we have unbelievable technology. And why should other countries have this and we don't? No, we're going to build an Iron Dome over our country, and we're going to be sure that nothing can come and harm our people. And again, from an economic development standpoint, we're going to make it all right here. No more sending it out to other countries in order to help. It's America first. America first. We will unleash the power of American innovation. And as we do, we will soon be on the verge of finding the cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other diseases. We're going to get to the bottom of it. You remember this gentleman that I don't want to mention other than one time I had to, because when you say the 10 worst, I had to do it. I didn't want anybody to be confused. But this man said, we're going to find the cure to cancer. Nothing happened. We're going to get to the cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and so many other things. We're so close to doing something great. But we need a leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately. And we will restore and renovate our nation's once great cities, making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And that includes our nation's capital, which is a horrible killing field. So many things. They leave from Wisconsin, they go to look at the Washington Monument, they end up getting stabbed, killed, or shot. We will be very soon very proud of our capital, again, Washington, D.C. America is on the cusp of a new golden age, but we will have the courage to seize it. We're going to take it. We're going to make it a current. We're going to bring this into a golden age like never seen before. Remember this, China wants to do it. Japan wants to do it. All of these countries want to do it. We have to produce massive amounts of energy if we're going to produce the new. If you look at some of the things that have been done and some of the things that we're going to do, but AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars. They built 8 chargers at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 chargers for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 chargers, 3 of which didn't work. And if you were going to do this all over our country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this and by the way, I'm all for electric. They have their application. But if somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day 1. So to conclude, just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America. We live in a world of miracles. None of us knows God's plan or where life's adventure will take us. I want to thank Franklin Graham for being here tonight. He's an outstanding man. He wrote me a note recently. I have a lot of respect for him. Sir, I love your storytelling. I think it's great in front of these big rallies. But, sir, please do me one favor. It won't make any difference. Please don't use any foul language. I was a little embarrassed. He said, it won't make any difference. Actually, it does. The story's not quite as good, but I've been very good. The story is not quite as good, to be honest. I've got to have a little talk with Franklin, but he was great. He's a great gentleman. His father was so incredible, Billy Graham. My father used to love taking me to see Billy Graham. My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. He had the biggest rallies you've ever seen. He was a good rally guy, too. But he'd get up, and he was a fantastic guy. My father loved Billy Graham. But I love Franklin Graham. I think Franklin's been fantastic, and I'm working so hard to adhere to his note to me. I'm working hard on it, Franklin. But if the events of last Saturday make anything clear, it is that every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God. We have to make the most of every day for the people and for the country that we love. The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you. It's your movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country by far. Can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It has always been about the hardworking, patriotic citizens of America. For too long, our nation has settled for too little. We settled for too little. We've given everything to other nations, to other people. You have been told to lower your expectations and to accept less for your families. I am here tonight with the opposite message. Your expectations are not big enough. They're not big enough. It is time to start expecting and demanding the best leadership in the world, leadership that is bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless. We can do that. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. But as long as our energies are spent fighting each other, our destiny will remain out of reach, and that's not acceptable. We must instead take that energy and use it to realize our country's true potential and write our own thrilling chapter of the American story. We can do it together. We will unite. We are going to come together, and success will bring us together. It is a story of love, sacrifice, and so many other things. And remember the word, devotion. It's unmatched devotion. Our American ancestors crossed the Delaware, survived the icy winter at Valley Forge, and defeated a mighty empire to establish our cherished republic. They fought so hard, they lost so many. They pushed thousands and thousands of miles across a dangerous frontier, taming the wilderness to build a life and a magnificent home for their family. They packed their families into covered wagons, trekked across hazardous trails, scaled towering mountains, and braved rivers and rapids to stake their claim on the wide open, new, and very beautiful frontier. When our way of life was threatened, American patriots marched onto the battlefield, raced into enemy strongholds, and stared down death and stared down those enemies to keep alive the flame of freedom. At Yorktown, Gettysburg, and Midway, they joined the roll call of immortal heroes. So many heroes, so many great, great people. And we have to cherish those people. We can't forget those people. We have to cherish those people. And building monuments to those great people is a good thing, not a bad thing. They saved our country. No challenge was too much. No hardship was too great. No enemy was too fierce. Together, these patriots soldiered on and endured, and they prevailed because they had faith in each other, faith in their country, and above all, they had faith in their God. Just like our ancestors, we must now come together, rise above past differences. Any disagreements have to be put aside and go forward, united as one people, one nation, pledging allegiance to one great, beautiful, I think it's so beautiful, American flag. Tonight I ask for your partnership, for your support, and I am humbly asking for your vote. I want your vote. Going to make our country great again. Every day I will strive to honor the trust you have placed in me, and I will never, ever let you down. I promise that. I will never let you down. To all of the forgotten men and women who have been neglected, abandoned, and left behind, you will be forgotten no longer. We will press forward, and together we will win, win, win. Win, 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 win. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. No matter what dangers come our way, no matter what obstacles lie in our path, we will keep striving toward our shared and glorious destiny. And we will not fail. We will not fail. Together we will save this country. We will restore the republic, and we will usher in the rich and wonderful tomorrows that our people so truly deserve. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And quite simply put, we will very quickly make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you just watched a piece of history right there. What an incredible speech by Donald Trump. Quite long-winded as well. Bro takes a bullet to the head and then just, 5 days later, gives what is it, a 2 hour and 45-minute speech? Oh, and we got Donald Trump and the next First Lady, Melania Trump, taking the stage, walking off hand in hand. Come on. Was that iconic or what? And by the way, just as a side note, whoever did the stage and the setup for the RNC, fantastic job. Wow. Amazing. So good. Donald Trump, he seemed like a changed man. I will say that. I think that assassination attempt might have humbled him a little bit. He has kind of a different look in his eye. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been live for over 4 hours now. It's been a good one. Thank you to my fantastic mods for sticking around and keeping everyone in the chat in line. Michelle C. did a fantastic job. Always fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. Jim Barron. Throwing out those gifted memberships. Thank you, Jim, and welcome to the membership, the members area. Sandra Love. I have the chat link for you to join in the members area. So anybody who's interested in joining the Discord chat, it's in the members area. And also, I guess we have a birthday happening with one of my great mods, Jeremy Brummer. Always does a fantastic job. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Thank you for always hanging out, modding. I hope you have a great day. When is it? Tomorrow? Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. But ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning, I will be live. Hopefully. I wasn't able to do my normal setup for the live stream for the morning because I was streaming this. But I will be live. Maybe a little bit late, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I put together. But, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, to go through everything that is going on the next one. Good night.